If you are not 55 years or older, you're going to want to watch this because someday you will be. And if you are 55 years or older, then you are in the right spot, and this really matters to you. So most of the time when people talk about re-examinations and the 55-year rule, you are going to see this, which is all over the internet. Not that, that's M21 TAC 1. You're going to see this, re-examinations, and they're going to talk about this part here where it says in cases of veterans of 55 years of age. And that's all gravy and good, but the VA does give specific guidance for those who are 55 when it comes to re-examinations. And that's something that has been skipped a lot by a lot of people, myself included. And so you can see the M21 TAC 1 here. I will copy and paste this down below in the comment section so that way you can just search this yourself. But if you scroll down to E, you'll see considering a veteran's age in connection with review examinations. Review examinations. So this part is key, okay? And this is specific guidance with age, which I think should not be glossed over. So we're going to read this. And my favorite part about this part of the M21 is there's an example. The VA gives an example of the scenario or result, and then the rationale of why that is. And so that's what we're going to look at. So if you're a young buck like myself, this may matter to you sometime in the future. And then if you are old, this matters to you right now. I'm saying old as you're close to 55 years or older. So as discussed in the M21, and with only rare exceptions, veterans over the age of 55 must not be routinely called for re-examination. That's good news. In determining whether a veteran meets the criteria for exemption for re-examination by reason of age, do not limit consideration to the veteran's age at the time of the rating decision's preparation. Instead, this part's important, consider what age the veteran will have attained by the time the future exam is actually conducted. So if you're 52, I'm going to zoom in here, sorry. If you're 52 years old and you get a new rating or you have a condition that's not static, okay, and you have that routine future exam, the VA is supposed to say, well, in 3 years, that's about the time. There's a timetable here. It's like 1824 months, and there's another criteria there. The VA is not supposed to schedule that re-examination once you hit that 55-year mark, okay? Use the table below to determine the impact of the veteran's age on future re-examination efforts and planning. That's the key part there for this guidance in E, in ECHO. So if the veteran will have reached or surpassed age 55 by the time the re-examination is conducted, do not schedule the re-exam, right? Unless you're required to do so by specific regulation or compelled to do so on unusual circumstances. That's that rare part, right? Like cancers in remission is going to be what it is, all right? If the expiration of a future exam control, this has a lot of P&T language in there. So obviously, if you're P&T, there you go. Review and review the case indicates that the veteran is currently age 55 or older. Cancel any examination. Not required, not warranted. Follow the guidance as it appears there. Now, review in connection with an unrelated claim or issue reveals a future examination control for a veteran who is currently age 55 or older or will have reached or surpassed age 55 by the time the re-exam is conducted. So yes, being 55 absolutely matters when it comes to having re-examinations. And then the VA suggests if this, then that, then delete or cancel the existing examination control provided it is not blah, 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 blah. Okay. There are some notes here. We always have to read notes in M21. That's critical here. Whether cases found to involve the unusual circumstances as described in this, that is this part right here. Okay. is an individual's fact-specific determination left to the discretion of the rating activity. If, however, a future review examination is deemed warranted in light of unusual circumstances, the claims processor must identify and document the nature of the unusual facts found in the form. Basically, make a note in VBMS that, hey, this veteran does meet these unusual facts, this rare exception, okay? And then you come over here into 38 CFR, except under unusual circumstances. That's what we're talking about here. The VA has to note what those are and why they scheduled the reexamination, which is good to know, okay? Now, this is probably the most important part of this video here. So, example of considering a veteran's age. There's a scenario, a veteran born on March 7th, 1963, I'm not going to do any math here, claims an increase in his service-connected PTSD, currently evaluated at 50% disabling. Here we go. So the veteran is, quote unquote, poking the bear, you could say. Medical evidence amassed in connection with the claim supports an increased evaluation of 70%, but also indicates that the veteran began attending weekly counseling sessions with the therapist, and that the prognosis for progress, that's like a diagnosis in the future, what the future holds for progress is hopeful and the potential for improvement is likely. That is not good for anyone not 55 or close to 55. The claim is forwarded to the rating activity for decision in February 2017. You can do the math there. The increased evaluation of 70% must be awarded and deemed static with no future exam scheduled, which is weird, right? Because although the veteran has evidence of 70%, it's likely that the condition is going to improve. However, in this veteran scenario, because they're old, it's deemed static with no future exam. Rationale: if pursued, a routine future exam would be scheduled for performance in February 2020, 3 years following the ratings decision's preparation. The veteran, though only 53 years old at the time of the claim's referral to the rating activity, will have surpassed age 55 by the time the exam is conducted. So yes, that 55 years does absolutely matter. Whether you are, quote unquote, poking the bear or not. Here you go. This is for re-examinations. Now, there are a ton. I just picked 2 blocks out of here. Okay, I'll show you what else is in here if you want to take a dabble into what is up. So the criteria for requesting a re-examination, nothing to do with age here. I focus on the age part. Scheduling future review examinations for compensation claims, time frames for these. So it's 18, 24, or 30 months. That's where that came from. Okay, there's time frames associated with re-examinations. This is when not to schedule re-examinations. So this is going to apply for everyone, not just those who are 55 years old. This is the age part that we covered here with the example. There's when review examination shows improvement of a stabilized disability. So can the VA reduce a static disability? Yeah, they can. It's a lot easier to do before 5-year mark. It's a lot more difficult to do after the 5-year mark. That's a topic for another video. Pension cases, canceling review examinations, and failure to report for a review examination, you're going to get bada bing, bada boom, decreased for sure. Anyways, that's all I got. I hope that was educational for you. If you are a young buck like me, this is going to matter to us someday. If you are not a young buck like me, then this matters to you right now.